Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we've got a quick, really interesting signing and trade update. We saw 2 trades from over the past couple of days and 4 massive signings. We'll touch on all of these updates coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey channel. Now before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below and don't forget to leave a comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And don't forget to stay tuned for videos coming out in the very near future. So in today's video, we've got another very interesting one here. We've got 4 signings and 2 trades to talk about that happened from our past couple of days. So we're going to start off with the first of the 4 signings, and that was in the New Jersey Devils organization. Is Luke Hughes, who's a left shot defenseman, 22 years old. It was an RFA, one of the last remaining big RFAs after Mason McTavish signed, wound up getting extended. It was a massive deal. Luke Hughes gets a 7-year extension, AAV of $9 million. It's a massive extension for Luke Hughes. It really sets the bar for some of the younger defensemen. Hughes had a pretty good season last year, putting up 7 goals and 37 assists, 44 points in 71 games. So Hughes had a pretty good season last year after he had 47 points in 82 games the year prior. So he played in 11 more games in his first full season at the NHL level and put up 3 more points. So he's a guy who can probably, at his current point in time, put up between like 45 and 50, maybe even 55 points. His ceiling is going to be like a 70 to 80 point defenseman. Like, I truly believe Luke Hughes is going to be a really solid offensive producer in New Jersey. $9 million is a pretty steep cap hit, but with the cap going up, and on top of that with Luke Hughes potentially going up in production, that could eventually in the next like 2, 3, 4 years look like a steal for the New Jersey Devils. So at least this RFA business is done and the Devils are able to finish it before our season starts, as Luke Hughes has got a new deal to remain in the Devils organization. Then we saw Florida Panthers continue to go on their signing spree. We saw them extend Marchand, Bennett, Ekblad before the season started. Well, now with Mikkola entering the final year of his deal, they've extended him as well. Left shot defenseman Mikkola, who's 29 years old, entering the final year of a 3-year deal, AAV of $2.5 million, wound up getting an extension, an 8-year contract extension, AAV of $5 million. Now, 8 years for a guy who's almost 30 years old, Mikkola, is definitely an extremely long-term deal, but I don't think the Panthers are really worried about how this will age in like 4, 5, 6 years. I think the Panthers are really just hoping to keep this group together to win now. A $5 million cap hit for Mikkola is not too bad. He's a guy who can be like a 4 or 5 defenseman on most teams. He can play second per minutes. He can also play third per minutes. Very versatile guy. He's on the left side last year. In his second season in Florida, had 6 goals and 22 points in 76 games. Looked like a really good player for the Florida Panthers. That was his career high in goals and points last year. So he's a guy who can probably at this point put you up like 20, 30 points, like 5 to 10 goals, and he can be a solid guy who rounds out a team's defensive core as like a 4 or 5 defenseman. So like I said, $5 million is not half bad for Mikkola. The 8-year term is a little bit questionable, but still, it's not a bad deal for a Panthers team who's trying to win right now. So very interesting note there. Then we saw the Anaheim Ducks give out their most expensive contract in franchise history, as Jackson LaCombe was in the 2nd year of his ELC with an AAV of $925,000. He's a left shot defenseman, 24 years old, had a pretty good season last year, putting up 14 goals and 43 points in 75 games as a rookie defenseman. Looked fantastic. The Anaheim Ducks saw enough to sign him to an 8-year extension, AAV of, just like Luke Hughes, $9 million. Now this is a gamble and a half. I think LaCombe had a very fantastic rookie season, and if he continues to grow, like he had the ceiling, could be like a 60 to 70 point defenseman and could even challenge for like a 20 goal season at one point in his career. So I think it's a gamble, but I think it's a likely gamble that could pay off for the Anaheim Ducks. Like I said, at this point in time, $9 million is really drastic overpayment for LaCombe, but I think in a couple of years time that could look like a really solid steal for the Anaheim Ducks. So very interesting note there, but a guy who was entering the final year of his deal in LaCombe winds up signing an extension. And then we also saw Filip Gustavsson signing an extension, the goaltender who's 27 years old in the Minnesota Wild organization, entering the final year of his 3-year deal with an AAV of $3.75 million, wound up getting a 5-year extension earlier today with an AAV of $6.8 million. A beautiful piece of work there from the Minnesota Wild. I think Gustafsson's going to be a really solid piece going forward for Minnesota Wild. They also have Jesper Wallstedt, so I think maybe in a couple of years time Wallstedt's probably going to take over the starting job, but I definitely think this is an interesting deal. He's only 27 years old, so this only takes him until he's 32, so like the term wise I don't think it's half bad. Gustafsson making $6.8 million, I think it's a little bit of an overpayment, and he's still a little bit inconsistent. Like a couple of years ago he did not look like an overly good goaltender. Last year and the year prior to that bad season he had some pretty good numbers numbers. So like, I can see why they would sign him. Last year he had 914 save percentage and 2.56 GAA in 58 games. So very interesting note there. But it looked pretty good last year for Minnesota Wild. Now they're going to have to be hoping that he can run with the starting role. Now Marc-Andre Fleury's on Wallsted's his backup. So very interesting note there. But Gustavsson signs a 5-year extension in Minnesota. Hughes signs a 7-year extension in New Jersey. LaCombe signs an 8-year extension in Anaheim. And Mikkola 8-year extension in Florida. So very interesting note there. And lastly, going over to a couple of trades. So we saw 2 trades from over the past couple of days. The first one was quite a simple one. The Edmonton Oilers acquired Connor Ingram from the Utah Mammoth with $800,000 of his contract retained for future consideration. So basically, Utah just got Ingram a fresh start, and he goes to Edmonton. Now he's going to start the year in the AHL as the team's 3rd stringer. He's in the final year of his deal, so once again, this is a really low risk deal for the Edmonton Oilers. Like, we've seen Ingram in the past be a really solid tandem goaltender, so if he finds that form, that could be a really solid steal for the Edmonton Oilers. And if it doesn't work out, they can walk away from him in free agency. So very interesting note there. Last year he had a 3.27 GAA, 882 save percentage in 22 games, and spent a whole bunch of last year in the NHL Players Assistance Program. So very interesting note there. But I think this could be a really good steal for the Edmonton Oilers. Like, if they can get Ingram to play like he did a couple of years ago for the Utah Mammoth, that could be a really solid steal for the Edmonton Oilers. So very interesting note there, but a very low risk deal as Edmonton gets Ingram from Utah for nothing, as Utah just gives Ingram a fresh start. And then lastly here, we saw a trade swap between the New Jersey Devils and the Ottawa Senators, as the Devils acquired Zach MacEwen from the Ottawa Senators for Curtis MacDermid. So a very interesting swap here. McEwen's in the final year of a 3-year deal with the AV of league minimum. He's a center/right winger. He's 29 years old. Last year he got 2 goals and 3 points in 21 games at the NHL level. Also had 7 goals and 16 points in 23 AHL level games. Didn't look half bad for the Ottawa Senators, but the Senators just needed to add some more toughness. McEwen was most likely going to be an AHL level guy going forward. So he's going to join New Jersey. I think he's going to be a call-up option. Might be able to start the season as like a spare, but very interesting note there that the Devils add McEwen. Well, for the Sens, they add Curtis MacDermid. They add some toughness to their lineup. He's in the 2nd year of a 3-year deal, AAV of $1.15 million. He's a left winger. He can also play on the defensive end. He's 31 years old. He's not an overly expensive guy. If they really wanted to, they could bury him at the minor level. He played 23 games last year with New Jersey, putting up no points. He's more of an enforcer type guy who's going to be pretty physical and also get into fights. He's really rough and tumble type forward. He's going to probably play a couple of games this year on the 4th line and be a solid player there. So very interesting note there. But the New Jersey Devils have acquired Zach MacEwen from Ottawa in exchange for Curtis MacDermid. Those 2 trades, I think Ottawa won because I think MacDermid's at this point better than MacEwen, and I think Edmonton won because they're able to get some goalie insurance with Ingram. So definitely, that's what I'm going to talk for today. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think of all these movements? Do you like the Hughes deal, LaCombe deal, Gustavsson deal, Mikkola deal, and what do you think about the MacDermid trade and the Ingram trade? Definitely have to hear your thoughts on all of that down in the comment section below. That's all I'm going to talk for today. I'm going to like this video, and if you'd like to subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to leave a comment on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to stay tuned for my videos coming out in the very near future. Also the blog, talking about news, rumors, analysis. If that's going to check that out, I've linked that in the description below. Can't wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.